Hey guys, welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Patera with you today. We're working outside again. We're working in the garden and we're finally planting our tomatoes in our lasagna garden area. So I'm going to try a new thing this year that I want to share with y'all. If you all came to the Great Appalachian Homesteading Conference, you saw and met Miss Pauletta. She had the most beautiful aprons that she made for everybody and sold. Not only is she a great seamstress and can do all kinds of wonderful things with that, she's also very well known for having a gorgeous home, an old home kind of like ours, and it's gorgeous. She's also very well known for making wine and growing tomatoes. So I was able to get her tomato plant food, and I have looked this over and I'm going to show you the recipe. We love Miss Pauletta. Be sure to go like her site in terms of her aprons. If you love aprons, oh my goodness, you guys see everything that she can make. I wear a lot of her and have all of her aprons. That's all I've got and I love them. So I'm going to go through her recipe. She gave this out at the conference, and I'm telling you, she knows what she's doing. So I'm going to change up my recipe that I do. It's very similar to this. It's adding a few more things. So we're going to go through the step by step, and we're going to add it in and show you what we do. So let's get started. All right, guys. So here we have over here the recipe. And I've got everything lined up. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm missing one element in this whole recipe. And I'm going to talk about that. I have been hunting and hunting for it. But it's just a minute trace mineral. So until I find it, I'm going ahead and getting all of this in, so I can get my tomatoes in. It's middle of May. We got to move, right? So we'll talk about it. Okay, so the first thing that Miss Pauletta says to do right here is 3 cups of compost. Now, I'm not going to make a double dose of this. I'm just going to make one because I'm going to plant, starting out, 24 tomato plants. We'll grow from there, but we're going to start with 24 today. All right, so I've got 3 cups compost in here. Been mixing it up. You can see even the remnants of some old eggshells in there or whatever, but as you know, eggshells are good for tomatoes, so we're not going to worry about it. All right, so Miss Pauletta says the next thing you should use is a 1/2 cup of Epsom salt. All right, so we'll dip this bad boy down in here. You can get Epsom salt at Walmart, Walgreens, just pretty much wherever. So I'm going to dip my cup down in here, and I'm going to get me about a 1/2 of a cup. Actually, I'm not going to dip it. I'm going to pour it. About a 1/2 cup. Okay. I always use Epsom salt with my tomatoes. I use it with the calcium. So we're about a 1/2 cup right there. Alrighty. That's adding in your magnesium. So we're going to put that right on in here. Voila. Okay. After that, she says to use 1 tablespoon of baking soda. So we've got our tablespoon, not baking powder. Oh my goodness. Baking soda. I always have a issue with that, don't you? Trying to keep them straight. So there we go. I'm going to put that right in there. Okay. You're going to find that baking soda is very useful for many different applications, and for fungus and all kinds of things. So that's good. It enriches the soil. It makes the soil sweeter. It's really good for tomatoes. It sweetens them up. Okay, so that's a good deal right there. Okay, the next thing we're going to use is wood ash, or like what a lot of folks call it their potash. So put this down. So we're going to use, again, 3 cups. Got some pretty good chunks in there, so we'll have to work that a little bit. This came straight. Try not to get my hair in my face. This just now was the last clean out of my wood stove. So even though we got down to 37 degrees this past week, which is why I'm delayed on having tomatoes going in the ground, I hope that we are finally going to let the wood stove rest a little bit. It's always nice to do that. Okay, so we've got our compost, we've got our Epsom salt, we've got our baking soda, we've got our wood ash. The next thing that we're going to have added is a 1/2 cup of bone meal. So let's go right over here. This is the brand that I used. It's organic, and I got it from Lowe's. And I use it on my potatoes, which are coming up super nice. You know, one-handed sometimes. Oh my word. Come on, cooperate with me. Slowly but surely, people, right? Okay. This is really good for adding back your nitrogen. Did we get too much? Maybe just a hair. I think we'll be okay. So 1/2 cup. So we're going to sprinkle that in there. Okay. The next thing that you're supposed to add is right here, which is your boron. I have not been able to locate boron. Okay, you may have zero issue with that. I've looked at my co-ops. I've contacted them. I've gone into several stores. Now, I have read that you could replace borax with that. I'll leave that up to you. Okay, so I'm going to skip that, and what I'm going to do next is add her last ingredient, which is, of course, for your calcium, which is going to be your 1/2 cup powdered milk. I even contacted Miss Pauletta and I said, where in the dickens are you getting boron? She had a better time finding it at her co-op. I have not. So here's the deal. So this first time in application, I am going to be adding in the main things that I know that I need, which is my calcium and my Epsom salt. So the rest is going to just be extra gravy. What I'm going to do is to continue to try to find the boron for the extra applications. Okay, so again, last ingredient was the 1/2 cup powdered milk. So here we go. Looking pretty good. Now, I also have some eggshells that I'm going to add in a little bit because I have extra for grinding them up. So I did that on my own. So you saw the main deal in terms of your ingredients right there. So write them down. All right, so what I'm going to do, let's see how it's looking over here. I'm just going to mix it up. You know, and I've got it in a deep bucket, and it's not windy right now. So this should, it's not blowing too much on you, so that's pretty good. All right, so what I'm going to do, as she says, is you're going to work 2 tablespoons, okay? You're going to work 2 tablespoons of the mixture into the hill when planting. When the first baby tomatoes set on, work a tablespoon of the mixture in the dirt around the plant. So in a couple of weeks, add another tablespoon about every 2 weeks. So it's like, you know, you're just giving it a major boost. You really want it to set well. And you know, again, when you're planting tomatoes, you want to make sure that you don't have anything on the ground. You don't want leaves touching the ground, guys. You want to make sure that you have plenty of airflow in between the plants. I don't plant tomatoes any closer than 4 feet in rows or 4 feet in distance in the rows. I have learned the hard way not to do that. I would push 5 depending on what you're planting. I'm telling you, less is more in terms of space for tomatoes. Because if you get blight, because you don't have airflow, you're going to lose. You could very likely lose everything that you've got. It's not worth it to stick a couple more plants in there. All right, guys. Pulled up a couple of my buddies here. We'll put them back. What you're going to do is find your spot, pick your spot, and you're going to add in 2 tablespoons. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, I'm going to work this in. Okay. Now I'm going to plant my tomato plant and pull out anything suspicious. Oh, look at here. They're just everywhere. My goodness, I love it. All right, I'm going to plant in here in this area. I'm going to pull off the end of some Romas. We're going to have some Romas this year. And I'm just going to plant them in here. I've already taken off some of the bottom stems, make sure that looked good. I've already soaked the bottom really good. I'm going to put this in here and we're going to get it established. Okay guys, we've got the wonderful plant food in, we've got the tomato in, we've also built up the hill up around the base, we've cleared the bottom. We'll continue to build the plant up onto my plant stands. I have some of these wonderful garden tomato stakes, caging type situations that I got from gardenersupply.com. I love these. I use every single one of them and then I supplement and add to as I go. I also like to water my tomatoes with water picks. I got this also, as you can see right here, from gardenersupply.com, and I have it set up right now in a certain way. Oh, there's my buddy down there, one of them. It's a water pick that you buy, and then you select which type of soil that you have, and you poke a hole through it. As you can see, I've got the nail through it right there, so you can see, just for a visual, what's going on in there. And you attach it to a 2 liter. Now this is the fifth, maybe at least the 5th year that I've used these, okay? They work very well. They recycle very well. So you get some 2 liters, you cut the top off, you flip it upside down, and you attach it in here. Then inside, you put sand. And so what that does is it allows you to fill these up, and then it's slow. The plant, after you put this in, the plant pulls in, the roots pull in the water as it needs it. So you don't overwater or underwater. It takes in exactly what it needs depending on where it is in the garden and your soil and your plant and everything like that. I have found these very effective for my tomatoes and peppers. I love, 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 love them. And again, a great investment for your homestead, especially if you are loving to grow tomatoes and salsas and make all those specialty things. So I'm going to put this in. This whole garden will be full of these stakes, these water picks, and then I will also put in a mulch, and I will try my best near the plants and wherever I can to put my grass clippings. I've talked about that before, and it's in other recent videos that I'm uploading. I love grass clippings in my garden, so adds a lot of nitrogen back to the soil. I don't touch the plants with the grass clippings. I just come up to around the base. Great to keep the weeds out, great to feed the soil with nitrogen. I hope you like this video. Thank you, Miss Pauletta, for the wonderful recipe. We're excited to get our tomatoes in. It's time for tomatoes, guys. If you like what you see, like and subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. We'll talk to you soon. And we got a lot of planting still to go. P.S. As you can see down here in the fine print, I know Miss Pauletta is going to want me to tell you that it's very important, as I said, to not let your leaves touch the ground. Cut off all the bottom leaves. As it gets bigger, it's good to prune. Some people argue that, but I'm in agreement with her about pruning and clipping and taking off the suckers. You also want to spray with a good fungicide at planting time and after. So just a side note, a little PS there for all the things that Miss Wonderful Pauletta does, and we just appreciate her. Y'all take care.